Hey guys, so this video is about Recoleta skips, but this first part I want to show you some of the damage output because this is what allow me to define her rotation. So here I have 5 Moxies and I trigger her ultimate and it's only about 15,000, 14,000, right? There is no stacks, there's no additional Moxie. So here I repeat again, but this times I have 5 Moxies, but I have 10 stacks of assemble. Okay, 5, 10. Right, so the damage is higher, 38,000 and 11,000. Okay, and now for this one, I have Recoleta at 10 Moxie. Here I use Anneli's incantation first to buff. That's because she is debuffed by the enemy having 15% damage reduced. So Anneli counters that, right? It cancels it off. So it's then now consistent with the first and second one. And here I'm getting 72,000 and 20,000. So overall damage comparison, 5 Moxie, no stack is 15,000. 5 Moxie, 10 assemble stacks is 38,000. And then 10 Moxie, 10 assembles, 72,000. So just comparing the 5 Moxie and 10 Moxie, we can see that 10 Moxie actually has slightly lower damage. Like if you consider damage per Moxie, okay, 5 Moxie, 10 assemble stacks, 38,000. If we double that, it becomes 76,000. So it's slightly higher than 10 Moxies. So in that case, the question is, should we want to push forth all the way to 10 Moxie before using her ultimate? Or every time I have 5 Moxies, and then I can use it straight away. So I lay out 2 sets of rotation. The first one assuming like your ally uses ult and then you use S1, S2, so you get 4 Moxies, or you use S1, S2, S2, so that's 5 Moxie per round. So assuming you can get up to 5 Moxie per round. So in round 1, assuming that you already used your ultimate before this, right? So now you have 5 Moxies. So in round 1, you charge it up to 10. You use preparation Recoleta to trigger ulti, and then you use her own ulti, right? So you are using 2 ulti this round, and then after that round 2, you charge up to 5 Moxies, then you use preparation Recoleta to trigger ultimate, and then you will still have 5 Moxie. It will maintain at that level, it will not be consumed because preparation Recoleta returns the Moxie to you, but only maximum 5. Right? And then from here, you repeat back to 1. Okay, round 3, you charge it up to 10, you use preparation, out, and then round 4, you charge it to 5, preparation, and then round 6, it repeats and repeats and repeats. So overall, in terms of damage, considering just these 2 rounds, round 1, you will do 72,000 because you have 10 Moxies, and then plus 15,000 because your stack disappeared, right? It was consumed. So this ult will deal pretty low damage. Then in round 2, you got to charge your Moxie up again. And this time 5 Moxie, assuming you have 10 stacks. Now there's 38,000. So when you add up together all of this, assuming you are, just a single target enemy, it's easier to count that way. So basically when you add up all the damage, it's about 125,000. However, there's a different rotation here that I can recommend, which is again after you get her out and then now you have used it. So round 1, you still have 5 Moxie, you charge up to 10 Moxie, you use preparation Recoleta, but you don't use her ultimate, right? You just leave it there. So after you use preparation Recoleta, the Moxie reduced to 5, and then after that you just repeat, right? Round 2, you charge up to 10, preparation Recoleta back to 5, and then round 3 back to 10, down to 5, so you keep repeating. So each time you do that, you are dealing like 72,000 damage. So every round is 72,000, so in just 2 rounds, you are dealing 148,000. So overall, this is higher than option 1. However, in some case, you do need to use more ultimate, or for some reason you need to release or her Moxie, then you can go for option 1. But the previous runs, they are with units that doesn't give ultimate might. So will this change if I have a lot of ultimate might? Because having 10 Moxie, it will double up my ultimate might. So here is some videos or clips for Recoleta and Melania that will boost her ultimate might to a very high level. So we want to see how much is the damage difference. Alright, so here I fully set up. I have all the ults is up, Recoleta, Lopera, Pickles, and Melania. So I want to see now if I have how many? Okay, if I have 5 Moxies and 10 stacks, how much damage will I do? Okay, so preparation Recoleta will trigger ultimate. Okay, 100,000 and 200,000. Okay. So for these clips, on the other hand, I have 10 Moxie. So just now was 5, this is 10. So again, how much damage will I do? Alright, so for this comparison, I was debuffed by the enemy. So to keep it consistent, every clip here is with the debuff that reduces 15% of my damage. Okay, so 200 and 300. So each side increased by 100,000. And again, it can be seen that with 10 Moxie, damage per Moxie is actually a bit lower than the 5 Moxies one. Okay? And this one is everything maxed out. And we deal 480,000 and 500,000. So it seems that if you have all the stacks up, Recoleta will do a lot of damage. So sometimes you got to waste that extra 1 round or 2 round in order to build up her stacks. Which if you have again Melania for Moxie Overflow, it is okay. But if you were to do it very constantly, then you will end up wasting a lot of Moxie, because to get to 20 stack each, mono, mythic, and assemble, 20 stack each, you might end up having more than enough Moxie, and a lot of Moxie will be wasted because you're trying to charge up. So instead, the overall rotation here I recommend, which is in the first few rounds when you're setting up everyone's ultimate, you will definitely use several ultimates. So you will naturally get more than 10 stacks of mono or assemble. So what I would suggest is to push it, right? While you're setting up, like you use 3 ultimate, 4 ultimate. So during that time, just keep using Recoleta's S2 in order to get more stats. So once it is at a very high stacks, I have tried it, you can get that around round 3. You know, so at max stat, Recoleta's ultimate will do 2,400% single target relative damage. And AOE, I can't remember exactly what's the maximum, but it's over, it's about 900%. So after you have done that in round 4, so basically after you use her ultimate for the first time, so all the Moxie will disappear. So in round 4, you charge it back up to 5 and make sure to get 10 stack of preparation Recoleta and then use it. Then in round 5, you will generate her ultimate, but don't use it. Charge it up to 10 Moxie, 10 stacks, preparation Recoleta, but don't use the ultimate. So it's the same as I already explained in, previously. So from there, you just keep repeating round 5, right? Don't use the ultimate, but keep using preparation Recoleta to trigger 10 Moxie ultimates, okay, for maximum damage. So here is a full demonstration. Again, I go back to 400 meter dash 2. Okay, so I guess you can watch this video, but generally what's happening, I'm not going to comment on the entire video because it's a bit long, but basically I did what I mentioned in the previous slide about, charging up the maximum and then start consistently using the ultimates. However, this run, I think by round 4 it already ended, so instead of saving her ultimate for the next round, I just use it because the fight is going to end anyway. So I guess, if you are confident that you will be able to kill them by doing double ult, although the second ult will be lesser in damage, just go ahead, okay? If you can't kill the enemy, then save up the ultimate and wait for the next round. And yeah, so basically that is it for the rotation, and you can watch the video, else you can skip all the way to the next part.
Time waits for no one, even for a great feat. An unconventional choice. Do I have to do this? The show's on, hounds.
The puppy agreed with your decision.
Wear gloves. Time waits for no one, even for a great feat.
I'm losing my patience! Broken toes! I'm losing my patience!
Sterilize. El camino a ti en todos los momentos.
Get out of here! I'm losing my patience!
En la acumulación de laberintos, suéltalo todo una vez más. Idealismo, vuelos de fantasía. That hurt. Defend my work, I take it. Más allá del concepto en todos los momentos. El camino a Tlón. A truly villainous moment. Nuestro aliado es la verdad. En la acumulación de laberintos, suéltalo todo una vez más.
So for the tips, first of all, ensure there are at least 10 stacks of mono and assemble combined. So if you have 5 mono, 5 assemble is fine. Okay, before using her ultimate. Right? Then even if you can generate more stacks, like you need 10, right? But let's say you can actually hit 20. Consider saving it for the next cycle. So don't use up 20, just use 10. Because after that, you want to quickly rotate through an ultimate and stuff like that. You want to get at least 10 stack every round. So if you just use everything, you might not have enough incantation as in her S2 or allies ultimate to generate the stack for you. And a few things to note regarding preparation Recoleta. First of all is that Recoleta has 10 Moxie. So if you have like 6 or 7 Moxie and you use preparation Recoleta, it is quite guaranteed that you will trigger Recoleta's ultimate instead of other allies. Even though, for example, let's say you have Pickles and Melania in the team, and Pickles have like 7 Moxie. 2 is due to the overflow, due to Melania's mechanic, or for example, if you have Tuesday. So the game will consider Pickles to have just 5 instead of 7. The overflowed Moxie will not be taken into account when to decide, which ultimate to trigger using preparation Recoleta. And for Recoleta's rotation without Melania, it's actually it's very difficult for you to get Moxie, to be honest. Because if you use S1 followed by S2 every round, you can just get 3 Moxie per round. So it's quite difficult for you to get 5 Moxies. Okay, even if you use an ally's ultimate, the S1, S2, that's just 4 Moxies. And without all the additional Moxie gain, yes, it can be quite difficult to sustain the ultimates and use Recoleta's ultimate frequently. In that case, you might need to plan for maybe 2 or 3 round rotation to get preparation Recoleta and Recoleta's ultimate. Okay, you won't be getting so consistently as if you are having Melania in the team. But anyway, I would suggest if there is less than 5 Moxie, then use preparation Recoleta on an ally instead of Recoleta. So you don't use her incantation to build a Moxie so you trigger her ultimate, right? You use preparation Recoleta and trigger allies ultimate. So that will give 1 Moxie and 5 charges to Recoleta. So in a different situation, like if there is 5 Moxie exactly on Recoleta, and you do have preparation Recoleta, use it before you use any other skills. So why is that so? Because let's say if you use other skills and you gain additional Moxie, but you can't hit 10, then you trigger her ultimate. Okay, that additional Moxie will be wasted. Okay, they provide some ultimate might, but it's not that much because we want to hit 10 so that our ultimate might will be double, right? So in that case, use preparation Recoleta, trigger her ultimate, and then now you use S1 and S2, so you get 3 Moxie, and that 3 Moxie will carry to the next round. Okay, so now in the next round, like you have 8 Moxie now. You just need 2 more, and you can easily achieve that by just using one of her incantation or plus 1 more ally's ultimate. So you got to check in your spell dock, are you able to hit 10? If you are able to hit 10, then use Preparation Recoleta and then use her ultimate. So here is a little bit contradicting of what I've said before, to not use the ultimate, right? And then just let the charge drop back to 5, and then you charge back up Moxie to 10, then you use Preparation Recoleta but don't use the ultimate. But here I actually recommend you to use her ultimate. That is because if you don't have Melania in the team, you are probably using some other buffer that needs to buff once in a while to keep up all their things, ultimate, the buff. So you got to give some gap for them to act. So in that case, the best gap is, you know, after you just use Recoleta's ultimate, and then now you have a turn where you can focus on using your support, right? Buff, debuff, and everything. And again, you would still want to use S1 and S2 for Recoleta to charge back up her Moxie, right? Yeah. So basically, use her ultimate, drop her Moxie back to 0, but you use S1, S2, but you have 2 AP here in order to use buff or debuff to reset up everything again. So this will create a rotation, maybe every 3 rounds or 4 rounds rotation. Okay, but this is if you don't have Melania and you are using her with other support unit that needs periodical refresh of their buff or debuff. Anyway, the last part here is regarding Melania synergy with Recoleta. So Melania, one tips here I want to share is, if you use Melania S2 in order to inflict Passion Drain on 2 enemies, so both will have Passion Drain, and you use Recoleta's S2 to do the AoE attack, and if it hits both the enemy Passion Drain, she will get 2 Moxies. Okay, yeah, so here there's a slight changes in Recoleta's rotation if you're using Melania. So in round 1, use Preparation Recoleta on Melania, then Melania out, then you use S1 and S2, then you follow by Recoleta's S2. So in this case, Melania will get back 5 Moxies, okay, while Recoleta will get 3 Moxie, 1 from using S2 and 2 because it hits 2 enemy with Passion Drain. So in the video, I didn't write it fully, but yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, and then after that, round 2, you can use Melania ultimate again. So now you have 6 charges of fixed plan, which then will boost Recoleta's ultimate by 72%. Okay, then from there you can set up other units out, or you can start with Recoleta's rotation. Okay, so anyway, that's all for this video. There should be one more for Recoleta's tips, but her as a support. This is her as a DPS, and mainly I'm discussing about her rotation. So thank you very much for watching and have a good day.